Okay, welcome to the next module. What I've got in front of me is back on the course website, and this module is going to cover the human or computer-human interaction portion. So module 6. So I'll just go to module 6, and I'll try and get into the workshop area. So here's the workshop material. And what we need you to do here is to download these two files. So if you download them, I'm going to do that right now. And what we want to do is open the workshop usability file, and we'll do that in just a second. So here I am with my Word document open, which is the usability document from the website. And the exercise involves us doing some usability, which if you've been to the lecture explains things like Nielsen's 10 points, which you'll need to know for the exam and so forth. But this is a little bit more specific. What we're going to do is some hands-on findings of comparing websites and so forth, right? So I'm not going to read all this blurb. You can do that in your own time. But in short, what we're really doing is we're looking at a comparison for usability of competitor websites. Right? So what I've done is I've actually picked a few. Here it says, you pair up in groups, but obviously because we're online, you'll have to do it on your own. But what we're going to do is go down the bottom here and try to fill this table in through observations and test and trial on websites. Now, the exercise requires you to go to a particular website and then list some kind of functionality or task that you want to achieve on the website. And the way you fill this in is you would write your task in. In this case over here, they're saying go to this particular website, which is some kind of winery or wine seller's website, and from that website, can you, or what we want to do is find out what they actually sell, right? And the next three parts is what you fill in while you're doing it. So as an observer, you would watch someone else do it, and then put your notes down here to say, was the function successfully completed? You say yes or no. Was it easy, medium, or difficult? In a rating. You could have your own ratings. This is just given to you as an example. So you could even use something like a 0 to 1, or sorry, 0 to 10 type of scale, and then take some basic notes about what that user did or how they actually attempted to complete that function. Right? Now, in this exercise, they say, "I'll pick a website or so." What I've done here is I've just given you a few examples of what you could look at, just to see how good are these the websites in comparison to one another, right? And what I picked was Repco and Supercheap Auto. They could be compared because they're both in the automotive. Also did check out RMIT website compared to Swinburne. You could also do something like RMIT, Melbourne Uni and so forth if you really wanted to. And then I've put in a couple of others here, saying Bunnings and Mitre 10, Liquorland and Dan Murphy's and Morris Cluman and Barry Plant for real estate. Right? So a little bit further down here, I've left these areas open, but what I've done is for the two, so I've actually picked Dan Murphy and Liquorland to do a comparison, and further down I actually do another one, which is Morris and Cluman and Barry Plant for real estates. But I've just chosen some tasks. You can create your own tasks. But in mine, I'm always interested whenever I go to a website to say, okay, are they open? When are they open? And so forth. So opening trading hours, and in here I would list, was it easy? Did I actually find the trading hour open hours? Was it easy? And then what issues or so forth that I actually came across? So I've picked 3, which is opening hours. What about return policies? And what is the most expensive item in the shop, right? And so what I've done is I've copied that over. So I'll do one for Liquorland and then another comparison for Dan Murphy's with the same items listed. and that exercise would then fill in the rest of the blanks here to do a comparison and maybe give us some kind of hint where we could use the good features or good functionality in our own websites. So I'll just do a little demo about how you go about accessing the websites and so forth. So bear with me now. So here I am on the Liquorland website. And I've also opened the other tab, which is at Dan Murphy's, and I'm just going to go run through the exercise because what I wanted to do was find three items, which was try and find the opening hours and the trading times, the returns policy, and the most expensive item. So here I go. I'm going to go try and find the very first item. And you notice when you get to Liquorland, they're very busy sort of site. Not sure whether you could call this a user-friendly site, but we've got, here we go. We've actually got a menu all the way down the bottom over here. It says Store Finder or Frequently Asked Questions and Corporate and Contact Us, right? But let's have a look at the top. Select Store. Because if I want opening hours, I would actually want to find my store. You're shopping in Victoria, yeah, okay, yes I am. And click and collect or free delivery. Let's just try this. Not sure. Let's put it in here. Let's put it St Andrews, right, where I am. And lo and behold, there we go. We actually do get the time given to us. So we know when the stores are open and closed and so forth. So that wasn't too bad. Let's have a look down here because I remember there was a store finding option. So if I do store finder also gives me a list of, so basically the same kind of thing plus maps, which is quite good. So I'd say it was quite easy, but I just had to know that it had to be something to do with the store finder. So let's go back to, so the first option was quite easy to do. Let's do the second part, which is return policies. And let's just try to do a search first. Not sure whether it's going to do anything for me here. Returns policy. Nothing found. Okay. I did see something down here about terms and conditions and delivery information. So if you go to delivery information, still nothing really. And it keeps giving me to the top of the, so it's not really all that user friendly. Corporate, let's do FAQs. And the first thing that hits me is the returns policy. So it was a bit messy, so I'd give it a score of almost medium difficult, but still, if our website was going to be more usable, you'd want a return policy to be found in the search area, or even quicker. Quicker than that would be give a direct link to things like terms and so forth on the front page. Let's try the other competitor, which is Dan Murphy's. Now, the first option was to find the opening hours. And we already know something to do with stores. Let's have a look at all stores. And they give us all the information here on opening hours, etc. And what if we went to our St Andrews, here we go, St Andrews, Victoria. And there we go, St Andrews, Victoria. It gives us actually even more detail about, weekends and so forth. So it's quite good. All right, let's go back to Dan Murphy's top booth. So they're equivalent. I'm not sure now which one's winning, but let's have a look at returns policies. So let's have here return policy. Return policy. Nothing can be found. Okay. Most likely something like last time. It'd have to be down the bottom here somewhere, right? And let's have a look. Oh, here we go. So it's a direct link. Very nice. So it's actually even better than having gone to Liquorland where we had to look for a little bit more. So I'd give that an either easy, probably even easy score, right? Which is quite good. So we can actually fill in the information on the first block, and I'll do that right now. is, I'll flick over to my screen here. Let's minimize this guy. Let's flick over to my Word document, and with the Word document, let's just, oh, no, we won't do that. We'll go full screen this way. So what I did was I compared Liquorland, and my comments on that is opening hours. Yes, it was quite easy to find, but I had to put a comment in here. This is what you should be doing as well, because it could even this kind of exercise could pop up on the exam where you have to put in like what you think would have been the sequence of scenario actually finding some problem within the website. You could just be given an image of a website and say, perform usability on it, which I'll cover in just a second. So it returns policies. I put my own comment in here, guess where I can find information, frequently asked terms and conditions, and most expensive products. We didn't actually cover that, so let's just do that right now. I'll go back here. How do I find the most expensive product? I probably have to go to a particular, usually red wine or spirits are usually the most expensive. Let's have a look here. View all, and does it give me an option? Yes, it does. So it gives me a price, the highest price. So it's $655 for a bottle of red. Yep, I think that's red. Anyway, so it's quite expensive, but it was quite easy to find. Let's have a look at Liquorland, just to. Not sure. Okay, here, let's do a red wine. If I go to red wine, it gives it to me immediately, so high to low. And there it is, $955. So Liquorland's got a more expensive bottle of red than the red wine in the other competitor. So even the expensive side, I'd give it a medium because I had to go through the different sort of products. And for Dan Murphy's, I'd even list as a difficult. But you see what is required within the exercise. You should try that yourself, so you're familiar with the usabilities and so forth. Okay, I have completed some for the Morrison and the and the Barry Plant, but I'll leave it up to you guys to actually fill in your own website. So you should actually try to fill in and see how does a usability exercise actually run, where you have someone in front of you and you actually observe to see what they're doing. Okay, right. So let's continue the exercise by looking at two other websites. And what I've picked was, within my document, I picked Morris Kleeman and Barry Plant as real estate agents, and just compare what the two sites have functionality wise. And I've got my Word document here. I've already basically done the exercise, but what I'm looking for is three basic things to do at an agency. Is to look for an agent, try and find a place to rent which has got three bedrooms, 2 toilets and a car, and some financing information if possible, right? So let's have a look at the first one. How do we contact these guys for people to sell and so forth, or who actually does sell stuff to us? Because we'll be looking for leasing, which is quite good. It's directly on the first menu. Let's have a look here. We're going to find someone. If we want to find some agents, not really, right? Not really here. Oh, there's an agents down the bottom here, which we could sort of list through, but let's go back to the main menu. Very busy again. Oh, it is. So okay, we can get to agents directly from the bottom here. All right, let's try it on the other website here. Immediately on the very first hit. So excellent job by Barry Plant. You can go directly to find an agent as quickly as you can think of, because it's the first hit to the website. So let's go back here for the second one. What we want to do is we want to find a place to rent. So lease properties. We want to lease a place which has got 3 bedroom. Oh, this is very nice. It's actually got all the options for us here, so we can actually pick and choose as we go along to see which one we want to. Let's see, 3 bedroom. 2 bathrooms, and it's a bit annoying how the page keeps going down. And we can see that, okay, we can get something like in Eltham for 555. It's not too bad. Okay, so that was quite easy. Let's have a look at real estate here. Barry Plants, very busy sort of website up here. It's even got, yeah, 322. Well, and this is all buy, right? Here it is, right? Rent. So rent, but you have to still pick. Here we go. So we can say minimum 2 bedrooms and bathrooms, but it doesn't have anything about cars, right? So 2 bathrooms. Can we just do a quick search and it gives us something? Yep, it does. Well done. It goes way over the cars, but we didn't get an option to say how many cars, right? So it's about the only difference. So on that one, Morris Kluman actually gets it hands down. Last one, let's have a look at the option for financing, right? Let's go back here. How do we find financing? Oh, we did it immediately. Look at that, just stumbled across it to finance. So Aqua Finance, so they must use another third party, basically like we do with Merida Loans, right? Okay, and let's have a very quick one here. How do we find financing? Still very busy, Oh, there it is. So we can actually find the financing, but it's a bit more difficult. You'd have to stumble across it like I did there, and they do the same thing with third-party stuff. Okay, so the exercise is quite good for both the websites, and as we can see, I've already filled the information in. And you would find the same thing. You say, oh, I found it first item on the top menu and so forth, direct link on the screen. So you would say a rating of yes, it's easy or medium or difficult. And the last part of the exercise for that, for the usability or comparing sites is providing recommendations, right? And that's usually very common in the exam to be asked about. So recommendations that I would have said here would have been to say provide direct links rather than hide things within the drop-down list boxes. Like for instance, when we went back over here to Barry Plant, it wasn't really evident straight away that it was hidden away under here, right? For the renting and selling. When you scroll through the price, it sort of seems to just be sell, right? So you're up to buy houses and so forth, right? So let's go back to here. Provide filters for categories. So basically the same as what we had in the Liquorland and Dan Murphy. We could see that the filters were kind of missing there. It was just going to a category, and then you had to go to find most expensive under subcategories. It was really nice to see in Morris Kluman website. If I just flick back to there, if we go to here, and when we were looking to lease a property, it was really nice to see this sort of categorised filtering, and they went right into detail to actually say cars, which was missing in Barry Plants, right? Okay. And trading hours should always be on the front page, basically. So, like a general one for the overall all stores. And then if you really want to go to a specific store, you would get like in my case, we went St Andrews and so forth. So that would be the end of that exercise. Now, what we'll do is I'll quickly go through the second exercise in a second. The activity 2 for this workshop is really looking at hotspots on a website. And you can see down here, you've actually got a link where you can go and see a video or something or other to see what is the technology behind people using websites. And hotspots means that they're actually doing things like eye tracking or activity of mouse movements on a particular website. So if one link in the top left was always hit, your numbers would go up, so they become a hotspot. And what you find is when a website is actually designed, they'll have it sitting in front of people where they'll test to see where they're actually looking and so forth on this website. So you grab the user's attention. So hotspots, you can do this exercise on yourself or by yourself. I'm not really going to cover it too much, and really it's up to you just to understand what hotspots or hotspot regions within a web page really means, right? Now the second part was, activity 3 was it's more about colour schemes and so forth. So usability on colour schemes through colours. And if you have a look at the lecture notes, I think there was a proviso saying don't use more than 3 colours, and you try to stay away from colours which are like a blue, green, red, very sort of like green, red combination, because people that are colourblind won't see your website, right? And they'll just see one colour basically, probably grey or something, I'm not sure. But there are websites where you can go to which give you added help in terms of colour scheming for your website. So to match appropriate colours, like it's really nice to use pastel colours rather than these bright red, burn your retinas out, which you see a lot of people use in spreadsheets as well. They use this bright yellow or bright red, right? And it's actually very uncomfortable if you have to look at those things, all day at work, right? So there's an exercise for you there just to see what does it really mean behind colour scheming behind websites. Obviously, you try to stay away from this sort of thing, right? It's all red. It starts making people, because red is danger, right? So you try to stick to something sort of pastel-y, soft touch rather than this sort of bright red rubbish, right? Yeah. Anyway, it's an exercise for you to have a look at. Now, I'll cover this exercise, the last one, activity 4, in just a second in the next video. Okay, activity 4. Now, activity 4 is a little bit more important for you guys, because you have to remember, even from the lecture material, this is like most definite on every exam, is there's the questions asked about security, and security means that you have to go back and have a look at your lecture notes to look for the authentication, authorization, and so forth of how a user logs in. How do you authenticate them? Authorization and encryption and so forth. But there's an added section, and that part of this workshop is security on not just websites, but security on computer systems. Right? And there's a exercise for you here to actually do, and you should do this in your own time. I've given you the answers here, so it's up to you to write them down. But what I would recommend that you do is actually go to the website and just copy paste these, like what is encryption, right? So you should know what encryption is with an example for the exam. Same as spyware, phishing, farming. Just copy paste these guys into a web. Into the Google, and go to, let's say, the wiki page, just to get the definitions. Now, I've given you the answers here, and you're probably thinking, what are these numbers, right? But what it actually it corresponds to is, like here, farming number 6. We've got a definition table here. So if you go down to number 6, you actually see that phishing is where people try to scam information, financial information, through basically making a copy, like a lookalike site. Right? So you think you're actually logging in, let's say, to ANZ. Actually, you can't do that now, ANZ anymore, but just for instance, if it was Bank X, right, and you're familiar to go to that Bank X web page, what actually farming does is it'll create a copy of that web page, and it really acts like a filter between the existing web page and the guys who want to get all your private information, right? So you think you're actually on Bank X, but you're actually on the farming guys, and they will grab your information and so forth while you're thinking that you're in an active connection with your bank, right? So these numbers correspond to these items of definition. You should know them all, right? Just for your own sake, not only just for the course, right? But have a look. What does a worm mean? What does botnet mean? And all these guys. So I've given you the answer for this table, but you should, irrespective of the table, you should actually just go and cut and paste this into Google. Have a look at the wiki definition of all these, so you're familiar with what they actually mean. And that actually wraps up the exercise for today's module. So it really depends on you to do some hard yards and just have a look, browse around on the web and so forth, just to see whether you're familiar with internet security, right? The colouring scheme, and the rest of the heuristics, which I want to show you immediately right now. Is I'll minimise this guy and we'll come across here, and if you're familiar with the web, not the web, the lectures, you have to remember the 10 heuristics provided by Nielsen. And Nielsen, this is a bit more detailed. What you should do is actually go back to the web, to our course website, and have a look at the presentation for usability, right? And in there we've actually got the presentation for heuristics, Nielsen's heuristics of 10 points which you have to remember. And basically this document here just gives you in different words what we actually meant were covered in the lecture, right? So please have a look at Nielsen's heuristics, because these items here you'll have to be able to explain if you look at a website and say, is it consistent, does it use standards, are there error preventions and so forth. And it doesn't just have to be a website, it can be an application as well, right? So make sure you have a look through the lecture material and make sure that you actually understand Nielsen's heuristics, because it's almost guaranteed it's asked in the exam, right? Okay. All right, I hope I helped you out there. If you have any questions, remember the email, and all the best, guys.